Hi guys, I'm Liv Kenya and this is
Hadia.
This is still a continuation of our Ethiopian series. We have been posting our episodes. You guys have had so many questions, especially about border crossing, and we felt the need to just explain a couple of things for you. I'm sure so many of you would like to go to Ethiopia, but you're not very sure about what to do when you have a car, or maybe if you come by road, or if you just get to you come by air and you're a passenger. So those are the couple of things that we wanted to tell you guys so that you can be prepared as you plan your trip to Ethiopia. It is one of those dream destinations and I totally recommend it for anyone. As a tourist like us who's going to Ethiopia, you can either come by road or by air. Ethiopia is in East Africa, but it's not in the East African community. So if you are in Kenya, if you are in one of those countries that are in East African community, temporary passport does not work. The one that we use in East Africa, you must have a valid passport. The second thing, you need a yellow fever vaccine certificate. Once you have that, the other thing is now the visa. Now, if you are a Kenyan, you do not need a visa to get into Ethiopia. It's visa free for us. But if you're from any other country, you might want to confirm with your embassy whether you need a visa upon arrival or you have to apply it in advance, or maybe if your country might be also be visa free, so you need to confirm that with your embassy. Also, you need to show them a confirmation of accommodation. You need to have booked an accommodation. You'll show them a confirmation of the accommodation. You also need to have a contact in Ethiopia. It could be your host. Maybe you booked an Airbnb or you booked a hotel. You could give them the contact of your host, or even a friend or a tour company that you'll be working with. The other question you guys asked was about
getting your car into Ethiopia.
Yes.
Your foreign car, like Kenyan plates, when you want to travel, do a road trip with your own car.
Yeah, it is one of the reasons why we did not manage to get our car to Ethiopia. It's now the most complex part of it. Quite complex, it takes quite some time. So you need to be prepared at least a month or so before you embark on that journey. So the first thing is that you must contact a travel and tours company in Ethiopia, a registered one.
Now you need to sign a contract with a tour operating company. A licensed one at that. They will charge you a small fee depending on how much you negotiate. So you sign a contract with them. They will write a letter to the Ministry of Tourism asking for permission to get your car into Ethiopia. Once they get that permission, they will email it to you. You go to the Ethiopian embassy in Nairobi. You present that letter, the contract with the agent. You will present the permission letter from the Ministry of Tourism
in
Ethiopia, and then you'll present the vehicle papers like the logbook, and then you'll have your passport also, and also a letter detailing your travel plans within Ethiopia. Once you present those letters, they will give you another letter. They will give you another permission letter that you will send it back to your agent. The agent will use that letter to go to the customs office in Addis Ababa to apply for the temporary importation permit. And once they get the approval, they will send it back to you, and they will send it again to the Moyale border. A copy to the Moyale border, assuming you are entering Ethiopia using that border. Now, on your day when you're going, you need to print out all those letters, those letters, present them to Moyale. Once they inspect your vehicle and see that everything is in check, they will now grant you permission to get in with your car.
Now, when you'll be going to the embassy, the Ethiopian embassy in Nairobi, you must show up with your valid passport, car documents, the itinerary, and the letter. You must have the physical letter from the contract you have with the Ethiopian Travel and Tours Agency. You must have a physical letter from them. While you are processing everything, just ensure that the letter that is required in each step, whether it is the physical letter or you can print out an email. But when you're going to the Ethiopian embassy in Kenya, you must have the physical letter, the contract you have with the Ethiopian agent, with the Ethiopian travel agent. So the amount that she told you about you'll be giving to Ethiopian agent is not necessarily little money. Let's just say it's in hundreds of dollars. Your negotiating power comes in, and also the number of cars that you'll be clearing also we can make the cost a bit cheaper. So it's one of those reasons that made us to just choose to use the public means. That is a lot of work, and the whole process takes 3 weeks or more.
Yeah. So you need to be patient.
Yeah.
It's not something you wake up and say you want to get into Ethiopia with your own car. But there's a second option.
Yes, the second option is that you may have to put a surety at the border. You put a surety of the value of your car. So if your car is worth, let's say, 40,000 USD, just know you will have to put an assurance of 40,000 USD at the border to the Ethiopian, I think Ethiopian customs account, so that once you have crossed over to the other side, you've left Ethiopia using your car from the exit point that you'll have specified. Once you have crossed, you'll be given back the money. Now the only disadvantage, I'm still in the second process. The only disadvantage of that is that, let me tell you guys, this whole paperwork in Ethiopia is quite slow. I assure you, there'll be a lot of back and forth. Like even in the first process of getting temporary importation, there's a lot of back and forth. You might go to the embassy a couple of times, and they'll just be telling you we are processing. They're actually processing. It's only that their processes are very slow. So assuming that you've put some sum assured, maybe a surety of your car in the second option, just imagine how much it will take for you to get your money back at the border. Even in the first process, when you are importing, you are getting like the details on the contract with the travel agency, the details at the Ethiopian embassy in Nairobi, or whichever country you are in. If you miss out a digit or a letter, the whole process, you might need to repeat the whole process, to start all over again, because they are very keen on details. So ensure every detail is accurate.
And remember to indicate the border that you'll be exiting from, because that will cause you a lot of trouble. If assuming you are entering through Moyale and you specified in the temporary importation permit that you will be coming back through Moyale, and maybe your plans change and you opt to exit through another border, it will be impossible. So you need to be very careful about your details.
Okay, it's not really impossible because you're already in and you want to get out, but the process can be quite long. You'll be frustrated and it's not worth it. So just ensure that all the details are correct.
Yeah.
So I hope we've answered you guys on that. You can imagine all that process, given the limited time we had and the financial impact it had on our trip. It did not make sense to us. But if you really must use your car, those are the options. It's not impossible, it's very possible. You just need to be very patient. Some of you have been asking if they can get a bus from Nairobi all the way to Addis Ababa. That one you'll have to take 2 buses. If you're using public means, you'll take a bus from Nairobi, or that will take you all the way to Moyale. So there is Moyale, Kenya, and Moyale, Ethiopia. So the first bus will take you from Nairobi all the way to Moyale, Kenya. Now, once you've cleared at the border, you'll have to get another bus from Moyale, Ethiopia, that will take you all the way to Addis Ababa. So there are a couple of things you need to know about that if you're using public means. First of all, there is no night travel in Ethiopia. So most people travel up to 9 p.m. Beyond that, there is no traveling. So once you've already crossed, ensure that you book the car, you book the bus, and all the buses that go directly to Addis Ababa leave as early as 3 a.m. So somehow you'll have to sleep at the border and wake up very early the following morning. You will make arrangements maybe with a tuk-tuk, or you can stay at an accommodation that is close to the bus station, so that you can just get to the bus station by around 3. And once you get to the bus station at 3, they'll still be checking of your luggage. Even the conductor will check your luggage to ensure that you're not carrying any prohibited stuff. By prohibited stuff, I mean they do not allow used clothes. In Kenya, we import used clothes, but in Ethiopia, it is prohibited. So if you're carrying any used clothes, you'll have problems. If you're carrying any illegal things, maybe drugs or weapon and all that, you'll also have a hard time. Even if you have your clothes maybe thrift and all that, just wash it so that it can not appear like you're going to sell them somewhere. Before you leave the border, ensure you exchange your money. Yeah, exchange your money, because Kenyan shillings is not used for transaction in Ethiopia, even from the border. So you'll have to convert your money to Ethiopian birr. And the best way to do that, there are many money changers just at the border. Actually, there are too many. They are quite a nuisance. Maybe Adia can chime in on that.
Okay, first you need to carry Kenya shillings, because the ATMs at the border do not work with our foreign ATMs. We had trouble trying to get money out of those ATMs, and they also have a limit. You can only withdraw up to 2,000 Ethiopian birr, which would be a bit too little, because the bus would cost you about 2,500.
Yeah.
So we would advise you to get cash, Kenya shillings, from the Kenyan side, whether through M-Pesa or through the ATMs from the Kenyan side. And then once you cross, you can change the Kenyan shillings with the
money
changers. Even if you carry Kenyan shillings all the way to Addis Ababa, the banks don't take it.
They don't.
They actually prefer to take dollars, euros, but not local in African currency. Like actually, Kenya shillings, they will not take it.
They don't take African currencies. We went to their central bank and they did not take Africa. Imagine we had like almost 40,000 Kenyan shillings at their central bank, and they said they're not taking that money. If it would be dollars or euros or pounds, they would take it. So the money that you have from Kenya, ensure you exchange at the border. There are many money changers, and you know, guys, money changers are usually crafty people. So ensure when you're counting your money, even if they give you the money, ensure you count it more than twice. Some money could have been folded twice. I mean, all money changers at the borders are just the same, honestly. But you need to agree on a rate. If you are exchanging a lot of money, they might tell you maybe 1,000 Kenyan shillings can exchange 1,200 Kenyan shillings. That is what they told us. And then when they realize that you want to exchange a lot of money, all of a sudden we started counting, and then they're like, no, we're not giving you with the 1,200. We'll make it 1,150 or 1,100. And we even had a lot of problems trying to tell them, but you guys, we agreed on that. I even exchanged some money with you guys. So they try to change that. The border has the best rate of exchange rate. Trust me, they have the best rate. Once you get into Ethiopia, the rates become so bad. They become so bad, and you cannot use like an African currency. So you need to know that. Do the exchange. If you can travel around using US dollars.
Yes.
Actually, they prefer US dollars. It is the money that you'll be using to transact, especially at the tourist attraction sites or the travel agencies. They take dollars. In fact, they'll charge you in dollars. And if you do not have dollars and they want to exchange it to birr, oh my God, you'll get the worst rate in the world.
Ethiopian birr, the highest currency is 200 Ethiopian birr note. So you can imagine trying to exchange a large sum of money. You would have a large bundle of money, which would not make sense, and it would also be insecure to carry such an amount of money. So it would be best to just carry euros or USD.
Dollars.
Once you have those, you can walk into any bank and you'll be able to exchange them. And now Ethiopian is also largely cash based. They don't swipe a lot in most establishments, so you'll need to pay cash. Whenever you're in a large city like Addis Ababa, just trying to find ATMs that will get you money, or go to the bank to exchange.
Once you are done with Ethiopia and you're going back home, just ensure that you have used all the birrs that you have, because you cannot exchange back birrs to dollars.
Yes.
Almost impossible. Nobody will take that. So their money is not used anywhere else other than Ethiopia.
So do not rely on ATMs in small towns. Most times they do not have network, they do not work. You will be stranded.
We almost got stranded somewhere in Yabelo.
Yes, we had to get someone from Addis to pay using Ethio Telecom. So if you can get an Ethio Telecom or a Safaricom line there and register mobile money, you'll be able to transact.
Ensure you get a SIM card at the border.
Important.
Let me tell you, you can get stranded in that country You can get stranded if you do not have Ethiopian network. It will make your work easier. And it will also help in Google Translation. Ensure you download your translator at the border, because language barrier is real. It will just hit you on your face like nothing else. You know, Amharic is only spoken in
almost two countries, Eritrea and
Ethiopia.
You
Either have a translator on your phone, or you have someone who understands Amharic. So at the border, don't forget that. The border opens at around 8 a.m. and it closes at 6 p.m. And it's strictly 6 p.m. If by any chance at 6 p.m. you're in the Kenyan side, you will not cross over until the next day. It is a one-stop border point, but once the gates have been closed, that's it. And remember, you need to get your bus. The bus that goes all the way to Addis leaves at 3 a.m. Okay, if you are stuck in the Kenyan side, you'll not be able to take that bus. So ensure you cross over, book an accommodation, sleep, and then you wake up very early to go to Addis. Book your bus immediately you cross the border.
So before we went on this trip, a lot of travelers were complaining about their experiences at the border. So here, this is just at the border. This is not an experience we had beyond the Moyale border. So there are 4 kinds of people at the border that will really frustrate your process. And one of them are pickpocketers. They are quite common here, and most times they target cell phones. We did not experience this, but most people were warning us about being careful with your pockets at all the time, because they would snatch your phones. The second group of people are money changers. As we said, they are likely to exploit you. So if possible, suggest a safe place where they can exchange the money for you, probably the hotel that you'll be staying at. At least a space that you will feel safe.
And you agree on the exchange rate and repeat it, so that you cannot be a victim of what you went through.
Yes. The third people are beggars. The moment you cross the border, you will see a lot of children begging. Sometimes they will want to grab you. They just want food. And there are a lot of them. So sometimes you will be so overwhelmed. So find a way to avoid that. Maybe by crossing, just get the tuk-tuks and go.
They are quite persistent, by the way. They are very persistent. I've never seen more determined people than those ones.
So the fourth people are the tuk-tuk drivers. Mostly a trip within the town would cost you between 50 to 100 bir. But
that is if you are using the tuk-tuk alone. But most of the time it's shared.
It's shared. You would pay between 10 to 15 bir per person.
Yeah.
So stick to that. Once they come there and they want to negotiate, of course there'll be a language barrier, but just insist that you're not going to pay anything more than 50 bir.
Yeah.
If they're not interested, take the next one.
Let's talk about the checkpoints. I mentioned that your bag will first be checked by the conductor, but even that is not the biggest concern. We were surprised because we got so many checkpoints. By the time you get to Addis Ababa, you'll have been checked so many times, you'll even lose count. So be prepared for that. First of all, they do a tap down. Is it tap down or pat down?
Pat down.
Yes, they'll just frisk you physically, and they'll also go check all the bags. First of all, you'll cross the boundary, and then they'll remain checking your bags. Now, because of that, if you have any valuables, anything that you value so much that someone might pick, just have a small bag, maybe a fanny pack, a purse, or maybe a small backpack that you can, when they're going to do the tap down, you can just show them they'll want to see what is inside, so you can just show them so that they can just be sure that it's nothing. They'll also want to check your passport, and maybe they'll ask you a question or two. They're mostly the military and the police checks. So what they're checking for is mostly, like I said, used clothes. They're checking for any drugs or any weapons or anything prohibited. So that is what they'll be checking. You won't be the only one being checked. They will check even the locals if you're using the bus. They will even check the locals. So it's nothing personal. It's just part of the process. They also had, I think, a scare of the terrorist attack a while back. So it's also a preventive measure. So the locals will be checked. You'll also be checked. Just follow what they do. That is all I can tell you. So there'll be so many checks. Be prepared for that. If you have your own car, I'm sure it will even take longer for your car to be checked. So be prepared for that. It is one of the reasons why the entire trip from Moyale, Ethiopia to Addis takes longer. It takes up to 14 hours.
Yeah.
Up to 14 hours. It could be shorter. It could be maybe 3 hours shorter. But because of the checks, it becomes a bit longer. So other than the bus or your private means, there are some areas you cannot go even with your own private cars in Ethiopia because of civil unrest and some civil tension. Especially the northern part of Ethiopia, you might want to go by air, or you can use a tour company that can organize everything for you. So beware of that. Even if you get in with your car, there are so many places you cannot access. Most of the tourist attractions are community projects. So even if you take yourself by air, you will still need a local guide. So have that in mind.
Until the situation changes, maybe you will not be able to do a road trip across the north.
Yeah.
For now.
It's one of the reasons why we did not succeed in planning our trip from Kenya. We wanted to do a Kenya to Cairo trip. Other than the unrest on the north, also the war in Sudan. It's also one of the reasons why we have not managed to organize that. Safety is paramount.
Their staple food is injera, and most of the meals are served with injera or bread. And if you've ever tasted injera, it's a bit sour. So it's not everyone's cup of tea. And then another thing, their food is spicy. Most of the stews that would come there would be peppery, really hot. And nobody asks if they should include pepper or not. It just comes hot.
She had to get used to it.
Yeah, so you need to prepare for that. And some other meals, their meals are not that continental, so you don't expect to get chips, chicken, especially chicken. They're not that common. We actually asked why they didn't take chicken, and
they have a lot. They have eggs in plenty, but chicken, they say that mostly it's not really part of most communities do not have chicken as food. It's mostly to lay eggs.
So if you're picky with food
or a vegetarian,
yes,
you'll have very limited options. And even for those who eat meat, they eat raw meat, fish or beef. So if you eat meat and you like your meat maybe well done, the stew is a bit chewy. The meat is a bit chewy. It's not, they don't cook it to make it as soft as we usually expect. Yeah, so be prepared for that. But it's good to always
be open-minded.
Yeah,
it's part of the adventure.
Yeah, you'll really enjoy it. So far, these are the questions we can answer. We'll answer some more later as we continue with the videos. Always ask the questions on the comment section, or you can send us a message. We'll find a way to answer your questions. I hope we've answered most of your questions, guys. And I think we'll finish this video here and we'll go back to the road. So right now we're going north. Stay tuned for more episodes, guys, and see you on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and jot all your questions down here. So bye.